Hi, yes, this is Julio from Programs. I'll be bringing in the callers live.
Okay, I'll keep you unmuted. Okay, sounds good. And then Julio with the studio, the moderator's audio wasn't terrific. I don't know if you can hear us. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? You cannot. I was talking to you. Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'm having some issues with the phone lines being repeated. Give me a second.
All right, I'm receiving the stream. I'm going to start the stream to the Facebook preview page. Allison, that is running now. Do we know who's handling Facebook on the other end today?
Yes, John, he's on. He will be doing that today.
Hey, Michael. Okay, looks like it's connecting on my end. Hey.
Perfect.
All right.
You're working with you again.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate your patience last week. Yeah, I've got video feed. So, yeah, whenever you guys want to test audio,
appreciate yours.
Check it out.
Yeah, appreciate your patience as well. We're looking good here. I'm all ready for all the audio tests when everyone else is.
Great.
Hi, Julio. Is that your backup line that's out in?
Yep, this is me.
All right, I'll mute this one.
That is duplicating the. So when the phones talk, they're being duplicated right here. So I can write it for the test, but maybe we should put a Teams computer here instead of this. Yeah, but it shouldn't come back. Oh. Maybe that's. hopefully that. Martin, can we try your phone again?
Yes. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20.
Martin, are you on speakerphone?
I am. Give me the headset.
Yes, please.
Give me 1 second.
And Rob, if we could hear you now, count to 20.
Okay. This is Rob. Oh, I've got an echo coming back in my ear like I did last time. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can barely hear him.
The echo's gone. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Rob, you sounded better there by the end, but your line does sound a little scratchy. It might just be a bad circuit. Can you dial again? I'm gonna drop your call and call us right back.
Okay.
Martin, are you back?
No, 1 second. I'm just trying to connect my AirPods.
And Derek, you should have
Yep.
heard Rob better by the end there, right?
I did. He did. His level came up, and as you said, it's still a little scratchy, but he did come up.
Okay.
This is Rob. I'm back.
Yeah, this circuit already sounds better. Can you count to 20 again?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah, Julio, his levels sound fine, but he doesn't sound better to us at all, at least on my end. He still sounds pretty grainy, kind of far away.
Yeah, I was trying to get rid of that. There was some fussiness in the previous line, like a general hiss. But let me work on his EQ as we talk.
Okay.
This is Martin. I'm back.
All right, Martin, let's test.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
He sounded good at about 14, and then he went away.
Yeah, I was bringing your overall level down at that point.
Okay.
Martin, can we hear your voice one more time?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Huh? You all set? Thought I heard someone speak. Can you keep talking? 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He's sounding a little distant to me as well. I might call him from a different phone to see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, are you sure you're on the headsets, Martin?
I'm on AirPods. I can go get wired headphones if you want me to. It would take a second.
The AirPods do make, for phasing noise sound.
Okay. Well, I would need about 5 minutes. I need to run to my car to get my wired headphones if you want me to get those.
Okay.
Yeah, I would try it while we have the time.
Okay. All right, I'll be back.
We need to hook up our moderators with. Someone used a Yeti microphone yesterday for, I think, maybe North Dakota, AARP North Dakota, and that sounded really great. They just used an external mic on their computer.
Yeah, those Yetis are good. I like their sound.
But I know they're not cheap, but maybe I'll complain to Lisa Jamison or Obia Gelly over here, who's on the call.
Derek, I have not heard you on the line yet. Can you talk to me for a little while?
Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Testing 1 2 3. How does that sound?
Give me a little more. I'm adjusting
All
the
right.
volume over there.
1 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. How's
He
that?
sounds good.
Thank you, Derek.
That sound pretty good.
Yep.
All right, I'm plugged in. This is Martin.
Oh, it sounds better.
Yeah, Martin.
Yep, much better.
Okay. Well, yep, wired headphones. I guess that's the answer. You need me to count, or are you okay for now?
Just a little.
Okay, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All set. All right, perfect.
All right, we're ready for a countdown whenever you're ready. And actually, Julio with programs, I don't think you spoke. Do you want to give us a count to 10 real quick?
Yep, I can start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, you sound good to me.
Want to confirm that Rob and Martin were able to hear Julio, okay?
Yes, I heard him.
Yes, I heard him here.
I think we are ready to test if we know what we're doing in terms of the calls. Julio, you've done this before.
Yeah.
So, do we have
Derek,
a caller to test?
Yeah, we do. We have Adam from DC. Derek, are you going to be reading through scripts and reading
I
a
can
bit,
barely hear
going
whoever
to
that
the
is.
Spanish? Oh, can you hear me? It sounds like they can't hear the Maria platform too much.
I can hear it fine. This is Rob.
Allison,
Derek.
Go ahead.
There you are.
Okay. Derek, do
Yeah,
you
there
know
you are.
the run-through where you can say a little bit of the script? Make sure you mention the *0 for Spanish. Just Julio can play his clip, and then we can take a caller, and you can go to each of the folks, the speakers, so we can make sure that they sound all right.
Okay, so what do you want me to do exactly? I'm sorry.
Are you familiar with that process?
Going to the callers?
Yeah, so essentially, if you want to start reading, sorry, I'm hearing my voice back too. you want to start reading from the script, we need you to read at least to the part where he talks. It's right at the beginning where he talks about star zero. If you like to listen to the event in Spanish, then he'll play a clip. After that, you can go to that part of the script where you're going to Julio, so he can take people live.
That's fine.
If you want to
How do we pronounce
part,
Julio's? How do we pronounce Julio's last name? Is it Villena or how? What is it?
That I do not know. Do we have someone in AARP who knows?
What now?
Wait, were you referring to my last name?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's Villena.
It is Villena. Okay.
Yep, Villena.
Gotcha. That's easier to say than Villena.
Yes, I get that a lot.
All right, let me, before we get going, give me 1 second. I want to dial in on another phone number just because the audio is sounding funky again. All right, so Julio, we're ready when you are to count down.
All right, you ready?
We are ready over here.
All right.
Okay, Michael, you want to go ahead?
All right. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Well, if you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, 3 on your telephone keypad to be connected.
Derek.
Yes.
Derek, real quick. So what we typically do, just so you know, is we're going to simulate it just like it is when we go live. So Michael's going to count you down on the actual event itself. I'll be counting you down. He'll say we're going live in 3, 2, 1. Then after that, you'll hear a pre-recorded message that says music hold has ended. Once you hear that, then you start your script.
Okay. So you want me to start at the top?
We're going to do it
then?
right now, so you can. No, wait till you hear music hold has ended, and then you can start. So give us 1 second while you'll hear this. We're simulating what you're going to hear at the top of the event when we start.
I understand. So
Michael,
where do you want me to start reading?
At the top is fine.
At the top. Okay.
All right, Michael, if you want to go ahead.
You bet. All right, here we go. Simulating going live in 3, 2, 1.
I thought we were going to hear something.
Sorry, I don't. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why that didn't go through.
I can barely hear you.
Okay, you know what? I apologize. 1 second. I see what happens. I muted that input too soon. I apologize, Allison. I was trying to get ahead of something. All right, here we go for real. Sorry, everybody. Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Music hold ended.
Well, hello. My name's Derek McGinty, and I want to welcome you to this teletown hall on behalf of AARP's Financial Resilience Team. Before we get started, if you'd like to listen to this town hall in Spanish, press *0 on your telephone keypad right now.
Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione *0 en su teléfono ahora.
Thank you for joining us today and participating in this nation that Social Security. This is your opportunity to learn and ask some questions. We're connecting with thousands of AARP's members from across the nation, and we'll be joined shortly by experts from AARP's programs team and a retired expert from the Social Security Administration. AARP is a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization, and AARP is in your corner, fighting on issues that matter to you and to your family. Hello, if you are just joining us, my name is Derek McGinty. Thank you for participating. And let's see here. I wanted to get down to the part where I'm introducing Julio. I don't see it now. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, I'd now like to bring in Julio Rios Villena to help facilitate your calls. Julio, welcome.
Hi, happy to be here.
Very excellent. Let's take our first question. Julio,
Yes,
who do we have on the line?
Yes, our first question is Adam from DC.
Adam from DC. What do you want to know?
Okay, someone needs to take Adam live.
Oh, give me one moment. For some reason,
and I can still barely hear Julio. Why is this?
Yeah, I'm having some technical issues. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take him live for the moment. All right, Adam is live.
Hi, thank you for taking. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead with your question.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I would like to learn more about resources and where to get them.
Resources to help with Social Security. All right, who wants to take that one?
I'll take that. So I'd say one of the first things you can always do is go to ssa.gov to research some information about Social Security. But AARP has a great resource center at aarp.org /Social Security Resource Center. Thank you.
All right. Rob, anything to add?
No, I think you had it covered it pretty well with the two best sources you can find.
Okay, and real quick, if we could go ahead and we're just going to try that again, just to make sure we can do it more seamlessly. I'm going to put him back up, Julio, and then Derek, in just a moment, if you could lead us back into that.
All right, give
pick
me
up
1
for
second.
Julio.
Yeah, if you can give me a moment. My screen froze, that's why I thought I was on the platform, but...
okay, let me know if you need to redo your computer. Yeah, restart.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julio with the studio, both of the guests are not sounding great to me, but in different ways.
Yeah, they have very different sounds. I'm working with the EQ.
Okay.
So
I guess we'll
hear
continue.
them more.
So when do you want me to start?
Yes, and Rubia Gelly mentioned something. Derek's audio also cut off for me when he was speaking at the beginning, just so you know.
Yeah, I heard that too. Derek, are you connected to the Ethernet?
I am.
Okay. We'll do
Yeah, I have an Ethernet cable, and it's I should be good to go.
We'll check our connection here too.
Let me just check it very quickly, make sure that that's what's going on. Network and internet, Ethernet connected. Yeah.
And as a reminder, I think I heard some chirping. Julio, it might have been from your side. Just make sure that that's muted. And then Derek and any of the guests, if you have the Maria interface open, just be sure to have your chat box at a minimum mute or any emails that are coming in, anything like that.
Okay, yeah.
All right, it looks like Julio's ready. Derek, if you want to lead him in again.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. That's some great information. A bit later on, we're going to explore how survivor benefits work and how divorced spouses collect survivor and spousal benefits. But in the meantime, I know this conversation has prompted caller questions, so let's get right to those telephones. Remember, press *3 on your keypad right now or at any time during the call to be connected with AARP staff. Let's talk to Julio Rios Villena. He's going to help facilitate your calls. Julio, welcome.
Hi, Derek. Happy to be here.
Great. So who's up next?
Yes, Derek. Up next, we have Adam from DC.
Adam from DC. What's your question?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I would like to know more about where to get additional resources.
Martin, you want to handle that one?
Sure, happy to take that, Derek. So for Adam, for some additional resources, first it'd be great to start with SSA.gov, and more specifically, make sure that you sign up for your My SSA account, because you'll be able to look at some personalized resources and personalized charts that pertain to you. The other place that you want to visit is AARP.org/Social Security Resources. Our Social Security Resource Center has articles, videos, and a lot more great information that you can use to learn about Social Security.
How was that, folks?
Can we hear some of Rob?
Rob, anything to add?
Nope, I think Martin covered that just perfect with the two best sources, Social Security Administration and AARP.
That sounded good to me, and the guest started sounding better too. Whatever you're doing was working.
Awesome.
Okay.
Obia Gully's happy. That's good. Okay, we're all set on our end. Julio, if you don't need anything from us.
No, I'm gonna probably make some changes here on my internet connection. Make sure that's not the broken link here. But otherwise, it's the same connection. So I think we're good.
Okay. So, do I have to sign back on to the control board again, or whatever it is? Can I leave it up?
You can leave it up.
Okay.
And what time do you want us to dial back in for the show?
Generally we're here at 12:30.
Okay.
But yeah, Abiageli, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I have on my calendar, 12:30.
That's what I have.
Yeah, that's what I had on my calendar. I was just double checking whether you want us on back on that early.
Yep, she's
fine with me.
So, yeah. You get points for being early. All right. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you in an hour.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers. Gardasil 9 is a vaccine given to adults through age 45 that can help protect against certain diseases caused by HPV, including cervical, vaginal, vulvar, anal, and certain head and neck cancers, such as throat and back of mouth cancers and genital warts. Gardasil 9 doesn't protect everyone and does not treat cancer or HPV infection. Your doctor may recommend screening for certain HPV-related cancers. Women still need routine cervical cancer screenings. You shouldn't get Gardasil 9 if you've had an allergic reaction to the vaccine, its ingredients, or are allergic to yeast. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system, are pregnant, or plan to be. The most common side effects include injection site reactions, headache, fever, nausea, dizziness, tiredness, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and sore throat. Fainting can also happen. Help protect what counts. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about Gardasil 9.
My friend used to pay $163 for car insurance. Now look how much he pays. Most insurance companies are charging extra. They don't want us to know that there's an easier way to get cheaper insurance. All you have to do is go to the link below and get a quote in under 2 minutes. You just put in your information and then it compares all the different insurance companies to make sure that you get the best rate. This is how the bill went to $38 a month from $163 a month. I'll go ahead and put the link below so you can check it out for yourself.
I want to talk to you about this project, this movie that you're working on, because it's something that you and I have talked about, because we
Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora. Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora. Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora. Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora. Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora. Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione asterisco y 0 en su teléfono ahora.
Hi, this is Michael with production. I'm going to check in with Julio here real quick, see if we're about ready to grab the audience player. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Derek McGinty, and I want to welcome you to this Teletown Hall on behalf of AARP's Financial Resilience Team. Before we get started, if you'd like to listen to this town hall in Spanish, just press *0 on your telephone keypad right now.
Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione *0 en su teléfono ahora.
Thank you for joining us today and participating in this nationwide Teletown Hall to discuss the role that Social Security plays in your retirement. This is your opportunity to learn and perhaps ask a question or two. We're connecting with thousands of AARP members all across the nation, and we'll be joined shortly by experts from AARP's programs team and a retired expert from the Social Security Administration. AARP is a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization, and AARP is in your corner, fighting on issues that matter to you and to your family. Now, if you've participated in one of our Teletown Halls before, you know that this is similar to a radio talk show where you have the opportunity to ask questions and get answers from our experts regarding Social Security. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, press *3 on your telephone keypad to be connected with an AARP staff member who will note your name and your question and put you in a queue to ask that question live. So remember, the sooner you press *3, the sooner you will be live with our guests. Now, if you'd like to listen to this telephone town hall in Spanish, press *0 on your telephone keypad right now.
Si usted desea escuchar en español, presione *y 0 en su teléfono ahora.
Hello, if you're just joining us, my name's Derek McGinty, and I want to thank you for participating in this Teletown Hall discussing what you need to know about Social Security. Now, I'd like to remind you, we will be taking your questions live. So to ask a question anytime you like, press *3. Now, this session is intended to be informational and educational. So you might want to grab a pen and paper because you'll probably want to write down some important websites and phone numbers. All right. Today's discussion will cover vital Social Security updates you need to know about, taxation of Social Security benefits, and how Social Security can affect the whole family, including a conversation on marriage, same-sex marriage and partnerships, divorce, children, and survivor benefits. Let's get to our guests. Joining me today is Martin Booker with AARP. He joins us for Social Security events because he's got a passion for helping people understand the program. Martin is a member of AARP's Financial Resilience Team, leading financial education initiatives focused on Social Security, budgeting, and investing. We are also lucky enough to have Rob Clark with us as well. He is a Social Security expert and a 38-year veteran of the Social Security Administration. We'll also be joined a bit later by Julio Rios Vilena with AARP Program Design. He's going to help facilitate the phone calls today. Martin and Rob, as always, great to chat with you.
Glad to be here, Derek.
It's great to be on the call with you today, Derek.
Now, as a reminder to our listeners, throughout today's Teletown Hall, we are going to share your live questions with Rob and Martin. So stay on the line. And as a reminder, to ask your question, press *3. We're going to dive into this because we've got a lot of material to cover today, and you're going to hear about some websites. So as I noted earlier, grab a pen and paper, go ahead and jot them down. Now, before we really get into this, I have a few updates for you regarding the availability of in-person Social Security appointments. Social Security offices are now open to the public. However, to avoid waiting in a long line, the Social Security Administration strongly encourages you to use their online services at socialsecurity.gov or even call them and schedule an appointment. Also, phone appointments can save you a trip to a busy office. The number again, 1-800-772-1213. Call between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Another major update that's going to be announced during this time of year is the annual cost of living adjustment, generally known as the COLA. All right, Martin, tell us a little bit about a COLA and how it works and is calculated.
Yeah, happy to. I'm so happy to. So your Social Security payment is typically adjusted annually for inflation, just to ensure that your purchasing power of benefits is not eroded by the rising costs, which is something that we've been seeing, right? This cost of living adjustment, or what they call COLA, tracks the inflation using the government's measure of consumer prices for a variety of household goods and services. Now, benefits are going to go up if they are able to measure some type of an increase, and usually it's anything that's at least 0.1%. And in this price index, they're going to look at that year to year. So the COLA was 5.9 for 2022, 1.3% in 2021, and it was 1.6% in 2020.
It all depends on how high prices are going. Now, we all know inflation is raging right now, so a boost in monthly Social Security payments could be pretty hefty. Now, some listeners may be wondering how much of those benefits will come at them next year. What will the increase be due to the annual cost of living adjustment? Rob, what do you think?
Well, the Social Security Administration announced an 8.7% cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for 2023. Now, that's the largest inflation-fueled increase in benefits in more than 40 years. So starting in January, according to the Social Security Administration, the average monthly Social Security retirement benefit will go up by about $146. So it's going to go up from about $1,681 a month to $1,820 $7 a month. That's the average retirement benefit. Now, with Social Security being the largest source of retirement income for most Americans, this increase is going to provide a much-needed relief to millions of Americans. And it supplies nearly all income for 1 out of 4 seniors. These guaranteed benefits provided by Social Security, which include the annual COLA, are more crucial than ever as high inflation is still a problem for older Americans. The automatic adjustment is an essential part of Social Security, and it helps ensure that the benefit doesn't erode over time due to rising prices.
All right. Well, are there any COLA-related impacts on Medicare that people ought to be looking out for? Martin?
Well, when there's a cost of living increase, you might not see all of it just in your benefit payment. So if your Medicare Part B premiums are deducted from your Social Security, as it is the case for about 70% of people who are Part B enrollees, then a Medicare rate increase could offset your COLA. So in 2023, when we're seeing this large COLA increase, that will also be accompanied by a very rare drop in your Part B cost.
All right. Thank you, Martin. Now, before we continue with the conversation, I'd like to remind you, we will be taking your questions live. So to ask a question anytime you like, just press *3, and Martin and Rob will be here to lend their expertise to what you need to know. Now, Rob, since more workers have been retiring early during the pandemic or trying to figure out whether they want to keep working, it's become even more important to understand how Social Security can affect you and your family. So, Rob, how do Americans feel about the stability of Social Security now and, of course, into the future?
Well, Derek, according to a recent survey conducted by AARP, a large majority of Americans, about 75%, are concerned that their finances could be wiped out at any time by a major health care expense. And another 72% are worried about recession. Now, with 39% of Americans saying they rely or will rely on Social Security for a substantial amount of their retirement income, over 82% for at least some of their income, we know that Social Security plays a critical role in the health and stability of families and individuals all across the country. Now, Social Security will survive. It's incredibly popular, and millions of people rely on it to help pay their bills each month. Now, Congress is going to have to address a financial shortfall that's coming up around the mid-2030s, and there's a strong indication that they're going to do that. That's why it's important to understand what kinds of benefits are available to you and your family members.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob. And speaking of family members, let's talk about marriage. How does marriage affect your Social Security benefit? Martin?
Yeah, great question. Great question, Derek. The amount of your monthly Social Security retirement benefit is based on your own work and earnings history. But if your spouse also qualifies for Social Security, each of you can collect a separate benefit, and the amounts will not limit or affect each other. But even if you qualify for Social Security, your benefits as a spouse could be higher. Now, depending on your age and when you file, it could be up to 50% of your spouse's full monthly Social Security benefit. Now, you won't get your own monthly benefit and your spousal. Instead, Social Security is going to pay you the higher of the two. So whichever comes out higher, that's the benefit that you're going to receive.
All right. Thank you, Martin. I'm hoping that Rob can give us a few more details about how these spousal benefits actually work.
Yeah, sure. Now, you may be able to collect Social Security retirement benefits based on either your current or a former spouse's work record. Now, let's take a look at the rules for couples who are currently married. Now, here's the qualifications. First, your spouse has to already be collecting their retirement or disability benefit. Then you have to be married for at least 1 year. You have to be at least age 62, unless you're caring for a child who's under age 16 or disabled, in which case the age rule doesn't apply. And now, if you have earned your own Social Security benefit, 1/2 of your spouse's full retirement age amount has to be higher than your own full retirement age amount. And again, finally, a spouse can qualify for the full spousal benefit at any age if they're caring for a child under age 16 or sometimes older if the child's getting Social Security disability.
Okay, obviously there's a lot to that. Martin, how do they calculate that spousal benefit?
All right, so if you qualify for the spousal benefit, your benefit will be up to 50% of your spouse's full retirement age benefit, which is going to be somewhere between 66 and 67, depending on their birth year. Spousal benefits are reduced to between 32.5% or 35% if you claim at age 62. And your spouse has to be collecting the benefit for you to collect benefits on their work record.
All right, I understand. Now, Martin, what about kids? Can children receive Social Security benefits?
Well, so sometimes they can. And in order to qualify, here are a couple of things that has to happen. One, the worker has to be collecting Social Security or be deceased. Two, the child is under the age 18 or between ages 18 and 19 and attending school. Then they have to be no higher than grade 12, or they're disabled prior to age 22. Number three, their life benefit for children can be up to 50% of their retired or disabled parents' benefit. And then lastly, it could be a survivor benefit for a child, and that can be up to 75% of a late parent's benefit.
Fantastic information, Martin. Later on, we're going to explore more about how survivor benefits work and how divorced spouses collect survivor and spousal benefits. But for now, I know this discussion has prompted some questions out there, so let's get to our telephones. Please press *3 on your keypad right now or at any time during the call to be connected with AARP staff. Now, we will bring in Julio Rios-Selena to help facilitate your calls. Hey, Julio, welcome.
Hi, Derek. Happy to be here.
Great to have you. Let's get to our first question.
Our first question comes from Matt from Florida.
All right, Matt in Florida, what do you want to know?
Yes, my wife is 5 years older than I am, but I took my Social Security at 62. For the year I was born, my maximum benefit would have been at age 66. So I'm drawing on my own, has nothing to do with hers. My understanding is that there comes a point when I reach a certain age, and I'm not sure if that's my full retirement age, so that I can go back to work and make any amount of money without being penalized. If I went back now, I could only make a certain amount. Is there a point that once I especially reach my 66, because that's in another 2 years, that I would be able to go back to work and not get penalized for working and collecting my Social Security?
Rob, that sounds like one for you.
Sure. There's an earnings limit that applies to people who are under full retirement age. And full retirement age is somewhere between 66 and 67, depending on your year of birth. So if you were born in 1958, for example, your full retirement age is 66 years and 8 months old. Once you reach the month that you're 66 plus 8 months old, you can work, earn any amount of money, and collect your Social Security. So it starts as of the month your full retirement age, and your full retirement age depends on what year you were born.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rob. Julio, who else do we have?
Yes, our next question comes from Martha from Florida. Martha asks, how can I get qualified for disability for Social Security?
Rob, do you want to take that one?
Yep, sure. The basic requirements for disability are, first, you have to be under full retirement age. Social Security doesn't pay disability after you reach full retirement age. Then you have to have worked and paid into Social Security, and there are a couple of requirements there. One of the major ones is that if you are over age 31 when you become disabled, you have to have worked 5 out of the last 10 years paying into Social Security. And then you have to have a medical condition or a combination of conditions that prevents you from working and is expected to keep you out of work for at least 1 year or end in death. So if you have a health problem and it restricts your work, I suggest you pick up the phone and call the Social Security Administration.
Yeah, it's not easy to get disability, is it, Rob?
No, it's not. Social Security disability has very tough rules to get. About 2/3 of the people that apply up front get denied, but they do have an appeals process. So if you apply and you get denied, it's important to go into the appeals process.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that information, Rob. Julio, who's our next caller?
Yes, Derek. Our next caller is Tamia from Louisiana, and she asks, how much does early retirement reduce Social Security benefits?
Martin, Rob?
It's a good question. Generally, to get your full benefit, you wait and you apply when you reach your full retirement age. Now, you can claim early. Retirement you can claim as early as age 62, but your benefits reduce about 0.5% for every month you claim early. So, for example, if your full retirement age were 67 and you claim your retirement at 62 at the earliest, you'd get about 70% of your full benefit.
All right. Julio, who's our next caller?
Yep. Our final question for this segment is from Facebook, actually. And Karen asks, can I apply for benefits at age 60?
At age 60. Martin, what can you do that?
Yep, no. So the earliest that you'll be able to apply is at 62.
Okay.
For those Social Security benefits.
All right. So unless you are disabled and are able to get disability, which we just talked about how rigorous that process is, you're not eligible at 60. All right. Thanks for the calls. Thank you, Julio. We'll be back and talk with you in a little while and get some more of those great questions. And in addition to sharing information and resources, AARP advocates for the issues that affect you the most. To give us a quick update on how AARP is fighting for you, I want to bring in our Government Affairs Director, Tom Nichols. Tom, welcome.
Thank you, Derek. Happy to be here.
Now, today, as you know, we're talking Social Security, which is always a top priority for AARP. Isn't that right?
That is correct. Yep, absolutely. And also, I wanted to share some news that you had talked about earlier. To reiterate, Social Security recently announced an 8.7% cost of living adjustment, which is the largest COLA increase in over 40 years, which would be taking place next year. This is great news, so seniors can keep up with rising prices. And automatic COLAs are absolutely a key feature of Social Security. So the 2023 COLA increase of 8.7% will provide much-needed relief to millions of Americans who are struggling with higher food, health care, and other costs.
That is indeed really good news. But what else can you tell us about AARP's fight to protect and add to Social Security?
So, of course, Social Security touches the lives of every American, both directly and indirectly. And we here at AARP are always urging Congress to protect the Social Security benefits that people have earned and paid into, both now and in the future. Our representatives in Washington, D.C. must commit to making sure Social Security is stable and adequate for the long term to make sure Americans get what they have earned and count on.
Now, we know that the Social Security Administration has been plagued by some pretty serious customer service issues. So what's AARP advocating for on that front?
So they certainly have. So, 10 years ago, people waited an average of about 3 minutes on the phone when they called the Social Security Administration. Today, that average wait time is almost 30 minutes. We're also seeing backlogs of application decisions, and these aren't just inconvenient, but can be a matter of life and death for folks. Tragically, every year, more than 10,000 Americans die while waiting for a decision on their Social Security disability application. It takes an average of close to 200 days to get a disability decision, and for many workers, much longer. And this is just unacceptable. Funding for the Social Security Administration has been lagging for years, and we at AARP believe that Congress must increase funding for the Social Security Administration to help improve these customer service problems. Seniors and people with disabilities, they can't wait for this. They need to receive the vital services they've earned and depend on.
They do indeed. Now, we also know that protecting Medicare is a big priority for AARP. And just this past August, historic prescription drug reforms passed the House and Senate and then were signed into law. Can you talk about what that means?
Yep, absolutely. So historic indeed. Prescription drug pricing reform is a huge victory for older Americans. After decades of calling on Congress to make prescription drugs more affordable, AARP won the fight to let Medicare negotiate lower drug prices and for other policies that will save seniors money on their medication. For example, the new law caps the cost of Medicare-covered insulin at $35 a month and eliminates out-of-pocket costs for most vaccines under Medicare, such as the shingles vaccine. There will also be an annual $2,000 limit on how much Medicare Part D beneficiaries pay out of pocket for their prescriptions, and drug makers that increase prices faster than the rate of inflation will be penalized. These are all huge wins.
Terrific. Thank you so much for being here today, Tom. And if our listeners want to get involved with AARP's advocacy efforts, how can they do so?
Yep, absolutely. So, and we can't do the work that we do at AARP without them. So we encourage everyone to go online to aarp.org/get involved and sign up to be an e-activist. You'll receive email action alerts with easy ways to make your voice heard, whether it's on COVID or protecting your hard-earned Social Security and Medicare benefits and more. Again, that's aarp.org/get involved, and that's an easy way to help make a big difference.
Tom Nichols, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, before we continue, I'd like to remind you, we will be taking more of your questions live. So if you have something you want to ask at any time, just press *3 to have Martin and Rob answer your questions. Now, let's get to survivor benefits. Understanding how the survivor benefit works is important, especially since they can provide stability at a particularly difficult time in life. So you might be wondering how spousal benefits work in a survivor situation. Martin, how about explaining that for us?
I'm happy to. So if you file early, your surviving spouse might also receive a lower benefit. So keep that in mind. However, a Social Security rule limits how much their benefits can be lowered. So under this provision, known as the widow or widower's limit, the surviving spouse of a Social Security recipient who retired early is entitled to either the late spouse's reduced monthly benefit at the time of death or 82.5% of the deceased full benefit. Whichever is going to be higher, that's what you'll be entitled to. Now, this means that your widow or widower cannot get less than 82.5% of your full benefit, even if you received less than that when you were during your time here on Earth.
All right, interesting. Thanks, Martin. Now, Rob, I'll turn to you. What about divorce? Can divorced spouses still collect survivor or spousal benefits?
Well, Derek, the answer is sometimes. A divorced spouse qualifies for Social Security on their ex-spouse's record if their marriage lasted at least 10 years and they have not remarried and they are at least 62 years old. 62 is if their ex is alive, or age 60 if the ex-spouse is deceased. Earlier we said you had to be 62 to file for benefits. That's filing for your own retirement benefit or on a spouse who's still living. If its spouse or ex-spouse is deceased, you can actually claim as early as age 60. Now, an ex-spouse is entitled to collect Social Security, retirement, survivor, or disability benefits. And whether or not the ex-spouse collects, it doesn't affect the retirement benefit of their ex-partner. Doesn't take anything away from them. Now, your former spouse doesn't have to be collecting his or her retirement benefit yet for you to claim as an ex-spouse. However, If that's the case, they have to be at least age 62, and you had to have been divorced at least 2 years. Now, if your spouse is already, ex-spouse is already collecting, that 2 years doesn't apply. But if your ex-spouse isn't collecting, they have to be 62, and you have to be divorced at least 2 years. Now, if your former spouse is living, the most you can collect on their record is 50%, one half of their full retirement age benefit. And you get that maximum if you file for benefits when you reach your full retirement age. If you claim earlier, the benefit's reduced. A surviving divorced spouse can collect up to 100% of their deceased former spouse's benefit. Now, remember, if you're already receiving retirement benefits on your own work record, you can claim benefits on your ex-spouse, but Social Security is not going to pay you both combined. You'll get whichever amount is higher.
That last thing sounds very important, Rob. Thank you, and for going over all those potential possibilities. Really helps us understand what we can expect. Now, listeners, I would like to remind you, we will be taking your questions live. So to ask one at any time, press *3, and Martin and Rob are here to lend their expertise. Let's move on to same-sex couples. What about them? Can they receive benefits?
So Social Security now recognizes same-sex marriages in all of U.S. states, and all same-sex spouses who wed in the United States are entitled to the same-sex spousal, survivor, and death benefits as any other married couple. Now, there are some considerations that you should be aware of, though, and you want to make sure that you're aware of. If you're married abroad, where same-sex marriage is legalized, where it was legalized before it was legalized in the United States, then your applications may be processed easily. But in some cases, you may require the legal department of Social Security to offer a legal opinion. Now, Social Security also recognizes some non-marital same-sex and opposite-sex legal relationships, including common law marriages and non-marital legal relationships like civil unions and domestic partnerships for couples. So keep that in mind. It's important for all same-sex couples to apply for Social Security, even if you're not sure if you're eligible, because your local Social Security office can be an invaluable resource in helping to determine if you're eligible for Social Security spousal benefit.
Martin, that is also good to know. We definitely don't want anybody who's eligible to miss out on collecting their Social Security benefits. Now, I know this discussion has prompted caller questions, so let's get to our phones. Press *3 on your telephone keypad right now or anytime during this call to be connected with AARP staff. All right, Julio, let's get to it. Who's up?
Yes, our next caller is Francine from Washington, D.C.
Francine from Washington, D.C., what's your question?
Yes, I have a question about the Social Security added money to your check. It was saying I got a notice, and it was saying you may be eligible to get money added to your Social Security check in a month, in every month, as much as $1,700 a year. And so I want to know what was the requirement for that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's a scam or not. Rob Martin, what do you think?
Well, I'll pipe in on this one. Most of the ads that I see that talk about getting money added back into your Social Security check are ads about Medicare Advantage plans. Depending on where you live, some Medicare Advantage plans will offer a reduced Part B premium. You have to pay your Part B Medicare premium to join Medicare Advantage. So it might be a scam, but it might not be a scam. Again, there are some Medicare Advantage plans where you pay a little bit less for your Medicare. I would suggest contacting your local Social Security Administration office first, and you can also try contacting your state health insurance assistance program, and they can give you some information.
That's great advice, Rob. What's our next? Julio, who do we have next on the line?
our next caller is Nancy from Missouri.
Nancy from Missouri, we're glad to have you with us. What would you like to know?
Thank you. I have a granddaughter that I'm raising. Her mother died, and I do get Social Security from her mother. But I was wondering, I am retired. I was wondering if I can also collect Social Security on her, or is that just one or the other?
Interesting question, Rob.
Well, if you're wondering whether your granddaughter can collect Social Security on your record, if you started collecting your Social Security, both her parents would have to be either disabled or deceased, and you would have to be providing more than 1/2 of her financial support for her to qualify on your record as your grandchild. Now, if you think you meet those requirements, you should contact your local Social Security office, and what they'll do is, if she could qualify on your record, they'll compare the benefits she could collect on your record to what she collects on her mother's record, and they can pay her whichever of those two benefits is higher.
Thank you so much, Ron. Let's go to Rob, rather. Let's go back to Julio. Who's next?
Yep, our next caller is Glee from Indiana.
Glee from Indiana. You're on the air. Go ahead. You there? Glee? I'm not hearing Glee. Julio, do we want to move on?
Yep, it looks like we may have lost Glee. So our next
All right.
caller is going to be Kenneth from Pennsylvania.
Kenneth from Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Go
Good
ahead.
afternoon. Thank you. My question is, last year when we received the 5.9% increase in Social Security, I was unable to receive it because I took an annuity and that was added on to my income when I filed income taxes. And Social Security said that they would review my records this year to see if I was eligible or not, and they put the amount of money more to my Medicare premiums. And so I wanted to know, how would that play now? Would I be able to receive it plus the amount for that we're supposed to receive, the 8.7% in 2023?
A unique circumstance, Rob. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, here's what it sounds like to me. First off, if you were age 62 or older last year, then you would have gotten the 5.9% cost of living increase. But it looks like, from what you're saying, it got eaten up because of an increase in your Medicare premium. Your Medicare premium for Part B and Part D prescription drugs can go up if you have higher income. Last year, if you filed, they go by what your income was 2 years ago. So your 2022 premium was based on your 2020 income, and if your 2020 income was high, they increased your 2022 premium. Now going to 2023, they'll base your 2023 Medicare premium on your 2021 income, and the threshold for next year is if you file single and had adjusted gross income of $97,000 or less, or if you married filing joint and had adjusted gross income of $194,000 or less, then you'd pay the standard premium for Part B. But if you were over those thresholds, you have to pay a higher Medicare B premium. Social Security will be sending those letters out in the next month or so to tell you what your premium is for next year. And if you have any questions, call your local Social Security office.
Thank you, Rob. Julio, who's up next?
Yes, our next caller is Kathy from Oregon.
Kathy from Oregon, your question. Hello, Kathy, are you there?
Hi. I'm not quite sure how to word this, so I'll do the best that I can. Say you want to retire when you're 67 and you turn 67 in October. So therefore, you'd be working about 9 to 10 months of that year and then retiring in October. So you would have income for 9 to 10 months of the year. Is that income counted against the yearly income that you can make for retirement? Are you penalized for making that income?
I think you worded it pretty well, Kathy. Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Kathy. We talked earlier about this earnings limit for people who are under full retirement age. Now, if your full retirement age is 67 and you turn 67 in October, first of all, starting with October, that month you turn 67, you can work and start collecting your Social Security benefit. The money that you made for January through September doesn't affect what you can collect starting with the month you turn full retirement age. Now, the other thing is, in the year you reach full retirement age, there is a higher earnings limit. For example, for people who reach full retirement age this year, they could earn up to $51,000, almost $52,000, without it affecting their Social Security benefit. So two things to keep in mind. The year you reach full retirement age, there's a higher earnings limit. You might actually be able to start your benefit earlier in that year. But as of the month you turn 67, if that's your full retirement age, you can collect your Social Security.
Excellent explanation. Thank you so much, Rob. Let's take at least one more question. Julio?
Yes, our next caller is William from Oregon.
William from Oregon, your question, please.
Yes, it's a simple question. I know they were supposed to get 8.7 next year, but what month does that happen next year?
Martin, what do you think?
Yep. So, great question, William. Yep. So your the COLA increase, that 8.7, is going to take into effect on December of 2022, and you're going to see that benefit in your check, in your January of 2023 check at that time.
All right, Martin. Thank you so much. Julio, do we have another one?
Yes, we do, Derek. And our next question comes from Pam from Facebook. And Pam asks, how can I apply for Social Security if divorced but not remarried and my ex hasn't retired yet? I'm 63. He will be 64 on December.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Rob, what do you think?
Okay. Well, again, if you're married for more than 10 years and you've been divorced at least 2 years, you don't have to wait for your ex to claim on his record. You could go ahead and do that now. And the best way to get that started is to call the Social Security Administration and schedule an appointment, and then either one of their representatives will call you, or you can go into your local Social Security office and they'll help you file the application.
All right. Let's take at least one more here. Julio, who's up?
Yes, Derek. Our next question comes from Brenda from Facebook again. And this question states, I'm collecting Social Security and I'm disabled. Can my husband become my caretaker and collect Social Security as well? I cannot drive, shop for myself, and I am in a wheelchair. He will be 61 in January, and I am 65.
Wow. Any thoughts, Rob?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Social Security will not pay a benefit to your husband on the basis that he is your caretaker. So, your husband would have to be 62, and then he could file on his own retirement, or if he could get a higher benefit on your record, he could claim that. If you're looking for help, I would suggest that you contact your state Medicaid agency. That's MEDICAID, Medicaid, not Medicare. Some states do allow for you to manage your home health care and might provide help paying a caretaker, and some states might help pay for a relative who is your caretaker. So contact your state Medicaid agency, see if you might get some help.
It sounds, Rob, as though the status of your spouse as a person who's disabled doesn't have much impact on your Social Security.
Yeah, that's right, Derek.
Yeah, I understand. All right, let's try to get at least one more in here. Go ahead, Julio.
Yes, Derek. Our next question comes from Leona, and she's asking her question on Facebook. And she asks, some insurance plans added up to $140 to your Social Security check this year. Would that be the same for 2023?
Read that again. I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand the question.
Yes, Leona asked, some insurance plans added up to $140 to your Social Security check this year. Would that be the same for 2023?
Interesting.
Again, this sounds to me like the Medicare Advantage plans that offer a reduced Medicare Part B premium. A couple of years ago, that premium was $148 a month. Last year, it was $170 a month, and next year it's going to be $164.90 a month. So, when they say up to, they're citing a premium amount. And again, that sounds to me like one of these Medicare Advantage plans. That they're not available to everybody. It depends on where you live. And you can check it out again by contacting Medicare or your state health insurance assistance program.
All right. Julio, let's keep it going. Who's up?
Yes, our next question is actually another question from Facebook, and this is coming from Oliver. And Oliver asks, how can I find out what my Social Security benefit will be?
Martin, how can he find that out?
Yep, so happy to answer that. So, Oliver, one of the things that you want to do is sign up for your My SSA account at ssa.gov. And with that, you get an opportunity to check your Social Security record and review your benefits. It's also good to check that long before you're ready to retire or you're ready to start collecting those benefits, because you get an opportunity to just make sure that everything is accurate, make sure that everything is in order. So take that opportunity to go to My SSA, to open your My SSA account at ssa.gov so that you can check into that and get the calculation of what your benefits and your earnings are going to be. And
now,
Derek,
Martin,
I want to just go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to add on because there was a question earlier about early retirement. And I wanted to just add to that and mention for that person, if you do retire early, so if you retire before full retirement age, even if you're not going to claim, we know that your Social Security benefits are going to be an average of 35 years of your income, right? So if that's the case and you decide that you're going to take early retirement, we're seeing it more and more. People decide to retire before their full retirement age, and even before they're eligible to collect Social Security benefits. Then in that case, you want to look at your My SSA account as well at ssa.gov so that you can have an idea that, hey, if I was to retire in my 40s or if I was to retire in my 50s, then how much would my calculations be and how much will my benefit be if I was to decide to stop working early and maybe pursue some other passions or do some volunteer work. So that My SSA account is going to be really important for calculating and understanding what your monthly benefit will be.
And maybe we should note that it's not exactly an easy lift. I mean, they demand a lot for that account because they want to be sure you are who you say you are, right?
For sure. The verification process, it will take time because they want to make sure that, if you're putting in your information and you're looking at your earnings record, that they have the correct person. And so they are going to go, it's a verification process. So be prepared to go through some steps. You may, if you may not be as computer savvy, then you may want to have someone help you out who can help you with some of those documents that have to be uploaded and things like that, because we want to make sure that it's you. And the Social Security Administration is going to take the proper steps to make sure that you're the right person and that your security is intact.
Appreciate you, Martin. One more call, Julio.
Derek, actually, that's all the questions we have for this round. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Then that's going to do it for right now. We're going to continue with our conversation because we've had some fantastic questions from listeners. But before we get going, I want to remind you all that we will be going back to the phone lines pretty soon to take more of your questions. So to ask a question at any time, just press *3 Rob and Martin are here at your convenience. Now, Social Security, we know, is much more than a retirement program. As we covered earlier, it's also an important tool for building family financial stability, with opportunities for your spouse and your children to draw monthly benefits based on your earnings. There is also an additional and important impact of taxes on Social Security benefits. It's always on the minds of beneficiaries as we approach the end of the year. So, Rob, what are some of the vital considerations listeners should be keeping in mind regarding Social Security and taxes on benefits?
Oh, good point, Derek. On the tax front, you might have to pay income tax on your Social Security benefit, but you only pay taxes on a portion of your Social Security benefits, and only if your income is over a certain threshold. And that income threshold is $25,000 a year if you file taxes as an individual, or $32,000 if you file as a married couple. Now, the easiest way to check to see if you owe taxes on your Social Security benefit and how much is to use a tool that the IRS has on its website at irs.gov. Now, you'll also want to check to see if your state taxes Social Security benefits also. There are 12 states that tax some or all of their residents' Social Security benefits, and those states include Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. So also, if you do owe taxes on your Social Security benefits, you can have federal taxes withheld from your benefit, or you can pay estimated taxes on a quarterly basis. You cannot have state taxes held back from your Social Security check.
All right, important information. So then, Martin, what about payroll taxes? Do folks still have to pay Social Security or payroll taxes while they're working and collecting Social Security?
Derek, so the short answer is yes. If your job is covered by Social Security, you and your employer are going to pay the tax, which is also known as your FICA. The same goes if you remain self-employed. You're going to continue to pay both the employer and the employee tax if your net profit is over $400.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin. Well, as we promised, we're going to go back and take some questions from listeners. So, Julio, who's up next?
Yes, our next question comes from Kathy from Missouri.
Kathy in Missouri, what do you want to know? Kathy, are you there?
Okay, Derek, it seems that we have lost Kathy, but I see her question here, so I'll just go ahead and read it to you. And Kathy asks, my first husband passed away, but I am married again. Do I have any benefits from the first husband because we were married a long time?
Well, that's a good question. Who wants to handle that one?
I could take that. The answer is that it depends on how old you were when you remarried. If Kathy remarried before her 60th birthday and she's still married, she would not be able to collect on her first husband who passed away. But if she either remarried after her 60th birthday or if her current marriage were to end in death or divorce, then she could collect on her first husband's record, keeping in mind that whenever you're eligible for two Social Security benefits, you can't add them together. You can only collect whichever one is higher.
That's an important caveat there, Rob. Julio, who's up next?
Yes, Derek. Our next caller is Diane from New York.
Diane from New York, you're on.
Yes, hello. My question was answered when you mentioned about how many years you have to be married in order to collect Social Security from your spouse.
Oh, okay. So you're good. Let's get to our next question. Julio?
Yes, our next question is Idol from Florida.
Idol from Florida, you're on. on our broadcast.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I turned 62, and I started collecting. I'm born in June of 57, and my wife will turn 62 this year in December, and we were looking into collecting spousal benefits. Also, I've been working since I'm 62, so I've been penalized every year that I worked. Now, next year when I turn 66, well, June, I'm born June 2nd of 57. So my retirement age, I believe it's 66, which is 2023. Just wanted to know, since I've been penalized all of these years for collecting early because I worked, how does that affect my spousal benefit if my wife decides to go that route? And also, as far as my penalties that I've been paying, because I went on a 3-year penalty plan, so I've been paying back what I owe because I worked. I wanted to know if I ever get that money back.
Wow. Those some complex questions there, Rob.
Yeah, you got a few things going on there. First off, as far as your wife, if she earned her own Social Security, she has to claim her own Social Security benefit first before she can see if she can pick up an additional benefit on your record. Then what you have to do is you have to compare what would you be collecting if you had waited until your full retirement age, and what would she get if she waited until her full retirement age. Now, if her full retirement age benefit amount is less than half of your full retirement age benefit amount, then she'll be able to pick up an additional spousal benefit on your record. Now, a Social Security representative in your local office can look up your records and crunch the numbers and let you know whether she can get something extra on your record. Now, as far as you're working, if you've been earning over the limit and Social Security has been holding back money from you because of your work, when you reach full retirement age, you'll get an adjustment in your benefit. Now, if you're born in 1957, your full retirement age is 66 and 6 months. Now, they won't do the adjustment until the year after the close of it. The year after the close of the year, you reach 67 or 66 and 6 months. But what they'll do is they'll recalculate your benefit, and your permanent benefit will be adjusted upwards about 0.5% for every month you didn't get paid. Just quickly, in other words, when you first signed up at 62, they reduced your benefit for the number of months you signed up early. When you get to be full retirement age, they'll adjust it so that your permanent reduction is only based on the months you actually got to keep your benefit.
Mm. And he's not going to get any of that money back, though, that he was never paid.
Well, yeah, he will, because what will happen is when he gets to be full retirement age, his monthly benefit will be increased to compensate him for the months. So he won't get it back all at once, but he might, let's say, get a bump up of $50 or $100 in his monthly benefit, and so he'll slowly recoup that money over time.
Fair enough. I think we got time for at least one more, Julio.
Yes, our next caller is Roberta from Florida.
Roberta from Florida, go ahead.
Hi, I'm 60 years old, and I currently get a disabled widow's benefit, and I'm wondering if I marry someone, will I be able to continue to get that disabled widow's benefit?
Good question.
Right.
Rob?
Yep. The general rule is that if you start collecting a benefit on a deceased spouse's record and then you remarry, you get to keep the benefit that you were collecting on your deceased spouse's record. So if you're already collecting and you're 60, then you would get to keep that. Now, I say that, but I'm going to tell you, call your local Social Security Administration office and get the answer directly from them, because they have access to your official record, and they can make sure that I'm not missing anything when I tell you that. But on the face of it, you should be able to keep the benefit.
Well, it's nice to have a little good news for a listener. Perhaps there's time for one more call. Julio?
Yes, Derek. Our next caller is Betty from Pennsylvania.
Betty from Pennsylvania, what's your question?
Yes, I wanted to know, my husband deceased. We're retired, and my husband works for the post office, but they won't let him. He loses some of his Social Security because he works for the post office.
Okay.
How much will he get from my Social Security if I'm deceased?
Okay, so he worked for the Postal Service, doesn't get a full benefit because he has a pension from the Postal Service. How much will he get from her benefit when she passes away, I think is the question. Rob, any thoughts?
Sure. It sounds like if his postal pension reduced his Social Security benefit, then I'm guessing that his postal pension is under the old Federal Civil Service Retirement System, CSRS, where he did not pay Social Security taxes while he was working for the post office. If that's the case and you die, he'll be subject to the government pension offset. And under the government pension offset, for every $3 he gets in his federal pension, they take away $2 in what he could collect on your Social Security. So it's possible he won't get anything. Now, that said, again, I'm going to tell you, call your local Social Security office, and they can give you the information that you need about your personal situation.
Perfect answer. Thanks, Rob. And in fact, both of you have been fantastic. Martin and Rob, any closing words for our listeners today?
Yeah. First, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who joined today. It was so good to have you. Great questions. We really appreciate it. And one of the things we know is that there's a ton to know about Social Security and to just understand. And we're here to provide you with as much assistance with figuring this out as we can. I hope that today's conversation was beneficial and that you can take at least one nugget away, one good piece of information that we shared, and apply it to your successful use of Social Security and the program. Now, here are a few beneficial resources for you. We have SSA.gov. I want you to go there for a deeper understanding of Social Security in general. And then I want you to go to login.gov to set up a free My Social Security account, which enables you to securely connect with the Social Security Administration online.
Rob?
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground today. But with the tools Martin just outlined, you can get all the information you need about your Social Security benefits for you and everyone in the family. Social Security really is important for most people. And we know it can seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. If you learn some of the details, you're going to be taking a big step to help yourself and plan your future. And again, like Martin, I want to thank everybody that participated today.
Well, thank you, Rob and Martin. You had such great information and answered great questions from our AARP members. We really appreciate you both. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed our program and you're walking away with information, answers, and tips that can help you out on your Social Security journey. On behalf of AARP, thank you for taking part in today's call. We hope you learned something new. Thank you. Have a great day. And this concludes our call.